pushed me further in the arts, even pushing me into doing more paintings at the National Art Gallery, the town where I was from, and even gave me a role. My first big role as Captain Hook. More lines than Peter Pan. And so I always admire her, bless her. And so Miss Payton was in front of the classroom, and now I'm in a classroom full of children from all different backgrounds and diversities. And Miss Payton says, okay, class, we're now going to discuss our cultural backgrounds. We all come from different backgrounds. Okay, so I really want us for next week's presentation in the class for you to go and find your heritage culture. Something that you celebrate that's different from everybody else. Like you, Sipiwe. You are Setswana. Yes. Talk a little bit more about the Setswana culture. And Manisha, you are from, you Indian, you're from Durban. Yeah. Talk a little bit more about the Hindu culture. So go back and next week we'll do a presentation. I was so excited. This is the first time we have to boast about our culture, so I put the papers out everywhere, and then I sat back and I was like, what is our culture? What is my culture? See, I come from such a diverse mix of background, different bloodlines. I was like, okay, no, what is our culture? Is our culture Sunday mornings or Sundays? The Sundays for us is still like it's still every Sunday. You wake up 6:30 in the morning. You make sure you get to church at 7:30 in the morning. Because after church, everybody would come over to our house. Because our house was the closest house to the church. And we would give out coffee, but because we also lived close to where Mrs. Kimmy lived. And Mrs. Kimmy made the best kusistas in the whole of Kimberley. And so my father would drive down to Miss Kimmy's house, and kusistas is like a donut. It's different spices, and deep fried and then dipped in syrup and then coconut spread on top. Oh, that sounds so good. My father would bring out, I know you all like churi. Yeah, it's like, and my father would bring like a dozen or 2 dozen, depending how many people would show up at our house. And it would always be aunties and uncles and cousins, and they would be sipping out rooibos tea or coffee and eating kusistas, talking about the week or what lay ahead of us or any kind of problems or situations, or someone's in hospital. We just sit and chat, and we gather around. And then about an hour or 2, people would leave. And then my mother would be in the kitchen, and she would be peeling the potatoes. My father would be cutting the onions. And Dr. Victor and Rasta Rebels would be playing in the background in our kitchen. And within a few minutes, the whole house smelled this aroma of fried onions and spices, coriander and mustard seed and cinnamon. My mother would be making curry. Always curry on a Sunday, but not just curry. There'd be roast potato, roast chicken, lamb, different kinds of cooked vegetables, never salad, because my father always thought that's salad food. And all different kinds of vegetables. And then, around 3 o'clock, a whole buffet is spread across the table. And you better make sure that you make it for Sunday lunch, because the family would gather around and say prayers. And then everybody would dish up. And then we go sit in front of the TV and watch National Geographic. Well, today if you go to my parents' house, it's just the 2 of them. There's still a Sunday buffet and kusistas waiting for you. Was that our culture? Was that our culture? Or was our culture the swalkos? I didn't know of anybody else who did the swalkos. They brush their hair along like this, and they sleep at night with the swalkos, or in the bath, make sure that the steam doesn't touch the hair. Was that our culture? Or was our culture our dialect, our language? You see, way back then when people started mixing and the Dutch came and, spoke their language and the Khoisan was mixing and there was all these different languages and then a lot of the slaves created their own language which then turned into what is now known as Afrikaans. But then colored people started to take it to the next level. Then they combined English with more Afrikaans, and so it's now called Kombuis Afrikaans, meaning kitchen Afrikaans with a little bit more slang to it. So even though there's 11 official languages, colored people have their own slang and way of speaking, a different dialect that's very distinct from everybody else. So it would sound something like this. Check in my Bruna. Can we go buy down there? The shop, check out this dialect, we go Dala what we got, and then we go over there to Sam's house, and if the party's rocking, then we go, if the party's rocking, then we go fetch Shona, and then we come back, and if it's still not rocking, then we're gonna go duck. And is that around you? So in other words, you get that? In other words, that means, come, let's go to the shop where we're gonna spend our money and buy some cool drink. And then we're going to go over to Sam's house and see if the party is happening. And if the party is not so much happening, we're going to go over to Shona. And then we're going to go pick her up. And then we're going to come back to the party. And if the party's still not happening, then we're going to leave. That's in plain English. Was that our culture? Was that our culture? Or was our culture celebration? See, from the town that I come from, Kimberley was known as the Diamond City. It's mainly known internationally as the biggest man-made hole in the world. The diamonds on the Queen's Crown is found from my hometown. And, diamonds, yeah, found from my hometown. And people came forth and they multiplied. Because there was no TV back then, lots of children were made. My father's one of 10. And my grandfather's one of 11. I don't know where else. So we've got aunties and uncles and cousins everywhere. But one thing that we always did is celebrate somebody's birthday. No matter what day of the week it was. If it was your birthday, we would come over to your house. And there would always be cake, and coffee, and tea, and cool drink, and sweets, and chips, and biscuits. And you sit by the table, and you eat, and drink your tea, and we celebrate your birthday. And 21st birthdays and weddings were always my favorite. Because then we would dance. And dancing is a big part of what I feel is our culture. We'd make a big circle. And then everybody, no matter what your age is, as long as you can sway those hips from side to side and move and click your fingers like this, or clap your hands, and we'd form this circle and put all this energy into the middle. I always imagine like there was this fire in the circle. And from the children, from the young babies, where they can just bounce like this. So, and they walk in the circle, and then we encourage, and everybody cheer them on. You're like, wow, you're so quiet, you're so quiet. And then the uncle who is like 86 years old with a hip, and he was after having a little bit of a brandy, and he'd be like, yeah. And we would still cheer him on. It was just this one big celebration. I chose that as part of my culture. Celebration.
What's a colored person?
What is a colored person?
I'm quite reluctant to use that term mixed because it implies that other races are pure.
I am mixed race.
Xhosa isn't anything pure. There's also been a lot of mixing going on there, the same with white people in this country.
I think most people, when they look at me, they automatically want to know what am I, or who am I, or where am I from.
Like, I almost feel embarrassed to say that for the longest time I did not want to be associated with that term, being colored, because the term was given to us